Good morning. My name is Mary Copeland, and welcome to The Road Ahead. Through a series of guests, we're going to help you educate your own road ahead as you age. We will help you and your aging parents prepare for your journey. Let's face it, no one wants to find themselves in a crisis mode simply because they did not have access to information well in advance. As the publisher of Compass and Clock, we will help you achieve your best future. Today, our guest is Paul Fiorini. Since 2009, Paul has been a hospice chaplain, both in-home and also as a hospice house chaplain. In 2015, he and his wife relocated to the beautiful area of Sequim, and Paul is with Assured Hospice In-Home chaplain. And in 2017, Paul started conducting legacy classes. I'll just give him a little plug here too. Paul has written a book set in a hospice house and is currently working on getting it published.
Thank you.
Welcome to The Road Ahead. Paul, how are you this morning?
Mary, it's an honor to be here, and thank you for that little plug. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Paul, today we're going to educate our viewers on the Legacy Project. So can you briefly explain a couple of things? Number one, what's a legacy? And number two, what is the Legacy Project and classes? Please.
Sure. So a legacy, in the definition would say something that is handed down to generations, that come after you. So it's how you've impacted people with what you've taught them, your values, your vision for life. How you've treated them. Mm-hmm. So it's something that also is the meaning you interpret that your legacy. Was it a meaningful legacy? Did I do good things? Did I have not a very good legacy? Do I need to change things? So again, it's what we pass down to future generations, usually obviously our family and our extended family and friends, so that they have a sense of this is what this person meant to me and how they treated me and what I learned from them. That's how I would talk about legacy. Mm-hmm. And what a legacy group is I've done 4 of them at this point, most of them in Port Townsend for whatever reason. And it'd be just a group of people come together. I have a series of questions. And I set some ground rules. Then I invite people just to start reflecting on what their life has been about. And there's certain areas I think we're going to talk about later. So people reflect on that. They have support from the group. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it can be emotional, sometimes, emotional happy, emotional sad. But the beautiful thing is the group helping that person understand their legacy, grow from it, and still, what is their future legacy? Because they're not dead yet. So that's how a group works. It's fairly simple. It's like a lot of groups, but it usually touches something deep inside of them.
Beautiful. And while we're talking, Paul, you don't need to get so close to the computer because it's distorting your sound.
Oh, sorry.
Just so you know that. So why do you lead the legacy groups, and what's the need for those? What do you see there?
So as a hospice chaplain, hospice, we can treat, 99% of the time we can treat physical symptoms fairly well. Emotional and spiritual pain or distress is another question. Mm-hmm. So what I've noticed over the years is a lot of people who are not peaceful at the end of life was they had no sense of what their life meant, what their purpose was, did they do anything good? So that, and also there was a paper I read fairly early on, I think in 2010, about the importance of legacy. So I said, I should probably think about helping people reflect upon their legacy before they die. So A, they can be happier in their life now. And B, that when it's time to end, when their life is ending, they can be at peace then. So it was just a need I saw as a hospice chaplain.
Beautiful. I should also give another plug here, both to the Legacy Project and to Compass and Clock, but Charla Wright, who's with Assured Hospice, did write an article on the Legacy Project, and it's in one of the issues from 2019, which everybody can read on the Compass and Clock website. So back to the Legacy Project and our interview though. What is the content of the groups and how does it actually work?
Right. So, people, there's usually 5 sessions, and the first session is just to explain what's going to happen. But the general, what was your life been about? What were the most important events in your life? And then people just start discussing from there. Then at the end of the first session, I give them questions for the following week, which is, again, focusing more on like, what are their most important achievements? What are they most proud of? What made them feel alive? The third session focuses on regrets, things they'd like to change, forgiveness issues. Fourth session is what do I want to share with future generations, with my family, my friends? How do I want to bless them? How do I want to be remembered? And then the fifth session is just a kind of a closing of them summing up their legacy. And do they have any end of life questions? So again, hopefully they prepare for the questions before the next session. And then, they share, and as I shared earlier, it can be emotional, it can be sad if they have regrets. If there's something they're really proud of, they're honored, and they're consoled by the folks in the group, or they're honored by the folks in the group. And they're also, we also encourage, and probably actually, in the fourth session, what do they want to do with the rest of their life? If they want to continue their legacy or change their legacy, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And focus on that. So then the fifth session is just kind of the final summing up.
Okay, so in that third question, I had asked, what is the content of the groups also? So since you're a hospice chaplain, that doesn't necessarily mean when you're conducting legacy project classes that the participants are on hospice. They can be of all ages, and they're just trying to figure out their legacy, correct?
Correct, yes. I make it clear from the first, I make it clear to the organization, the facility, that this is not about hospice. I'm a hospice chaplain, but this is about everybody who wants to come to it from their facility or place where they live. They don't have to be in hospice, and I'm just here to serve that local community, yes.
Beautiful. What do people experience in the classes in these groups? I guess emotionally and spiritually, what do they experience?
I think the primary things they experience are a sense of beginning to understand what their legacy is, or having a confirmation of what they already know, and having it honored by, the local community. If there are issues that are come up that are emotional, so some folks have shared with struggles with family members and how that's been a detriment to their life and to what they think about their legacy, the community helps them. Plus, I do some guided imagery around self-forgiveness and forgiveness of other folks, so that people can hopefully start to move through those issues and those realities. But again, it's just, for many people, it's just a confirmation of being able to tell their life story. Telling our life story, whether it's in a grief group or whatever group, is essential, I think, to having meaning and purpose in life and having a sense of my life has been worthwhile. So telling the story is essential, and having it honored and witnessed by others is a confirmation of that, and it usually makes people feel happier. So that's a wonderful thing.
Nice. So what are some of the challenges to knowing your legacy? Do they experience challenges while they're going through these classes?
Well, most of the challenges are around forgiveness and emotional issues that are kind of difficult for them to face. Also, there's people who have not, and I don't say this in a judgmental sense, some people have not led a very reflective life. So getting them to think about what their life has meant and how they've impacted other people, for some people that's a jump. But most people can begin to make that jump. And some people, just have emotional issues that it's hard to face those issues so they can have some sense of what their legacy is. So I think those are the main things that challenge people about understanding their legacy.
And where do you normally meet to do legacy projects? Some neutral territory or restaurant?
No. Can I use the names of the facilities? Is that okay to do that?
Yeah.
Sure. So I've done sadly, I tried to do one at the Port Angeles Senior Center, but nobody showed up. So in Port Townsend, I've done it at Discovery View. I have done it at Victoria Place, and I've also done it at San Juan Commons. The one at Victoria Place, we didn't finish the last session because that's when the COVID thing hit and everything stopped. But usually it's done at facilities where I think people already have a sense of community. They know each other. Again, I tried it at Port Angeles Senior Center, but that just didn't work out. I'm also going to try it at the senior center at Sequim. I forget its name. But that also was going to start this spring, but again, the COVID virus stopped that too.
Okay. So we're almost out of time. We try to keep these to 10 minutes. Are there any parting words you want to share with our viewers about their legacy and, reflection?
Right. So again, what I've seen in doing my hospice chaplain work for 11 years, people who have reflected on their life have a sense that their life has had meaning and purpose, and that they've shared that with others in a positive way, are happier people, more peaceful people in life now. And when it's time to transition to what's next, they're going to be more peaceful and content then. So why not get started on it now? It'll make your life happier and more peaceful and joyous now, and it'll be more peaceful at the end. So go for it now.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, Paul, and explaining to folks, really what a legacy is and how it can mean not only so much for them, but for their loved ones when they depart this world and go on to the next. So until the next time, folks, have a great day. Please stay happy. Please stay healthy, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.